Ever thought about quitting your job? I did. Well, I'll tell you more about that in just a second. But what's good, everybody? This is Charity Howard, and welcome to my channel, The Emotional Intellect. I was working at the same gig. You could call it a career, I guess. I thought it would be my lifelong career. I thought I would stay with the county where I live until I was ready to retire. That was my plan. But as they say, best plans often go awry. So anyway, I was there from about 2004, 5-ish, and I currently still work there for all intents and purposes. However, I am leaving. I am leaving my job. And the reason I am leaving my job is my job almost took me out of here. Now, I know somebody is watching this and they can feel me because they have a stressful job. And I want to tell you, I don't know where you're at with your job, if you're at the point of leaving, but I'll tell you this. If your job is keeping you up at night, if it's causing you to lose sleep, if it's causing you to feel anxious, if it's causing you to be irritated and feel sick and go to the doctors more than you ever did, if it's causing you to eat more, that was me, if it's causing you to need therapy and you're praying all day and you don't know how to cope, then it may be time for you to consider leaving. In the 20 years or so that I've been at my work, there has never been a time where it wasn't stressful. The kind of work I do is I work with juveniles and closely with at-risk and I guess you would call them justice-involved youth. It's always been stressful. And I often say, and that's why I started this channel, is that I didn't have the emotional intellect to deal with things in life, because if I had, I would have been out of there. The moment I realized that I had bitten off more than I could chew, and this is what they like to tell people at my job. This job is not for everybody. Like, not everybody can handle it. And the underlying statement there is that, well, maybe you just can't handle it. And of course, me being me, I wasn't about to just walk away from my good paying county job. Yes, I could handle it. I'm tough as nails. I was built for this. Like, what do you mean this job wasn't made for me? Okay? Because again, I didn't have the state of mind to know this is not a good job for you. Maybe somebody else can do it, good for them. But for you, this is not where you need to be. And a part of being emotionally intelligent is knowing when to say when. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you strong. It just means you know who you are, you know what's for you, and you know where you want to be in life. And I knew that I wanted to be able to support myself and my family, but I know now that's not where I wanted to be. That's the last thing I wanted to do. Now, were some days where I had rewarding moments working with the youth. Kids are always fun, but they are demanding and they are challenging, especially in that setting. And of course, I had a few co-workers who I enjoyed working with, but for the most part, it just wasn't some place that I really wanted to be at, because it was draining me. It was taking all the joy out of my life. I felt so stressed every day. I felt like I didn't have control of my life. I felt like I had to be at my best at that job. I felt like if I lost my job, if I couldn't work, I wouldn't have a way to support myself and my children. And I was a single mom. I still am, but I felt like as long as I had that job, I would be okay. That's what the enemy was telling me. Like, you can't quit your job. You can't take care of yourself. I needed to leave that job. And I'm currently in the process of retiring now, because when you find yourself on the side of the highway and a full-blown panic attack, that's when you know enough is enough. And it shouldn't have come to that. It shouldn't have gotten to the point where I felt like I was about to lose my mind. And for a long time, I was ashamed for people to know that. For the longest time, I couldn't even vocalize that, because it was hard to come to terms with that. And while I was in the thick of it, while I was in the midst of it, it just felt like I could never escape it. I could never get away from it. I knew in my spirit, because God was telling me, I got you. I was in therapy. I was seeing a psychiatrist. I was seeing who I needed to see. And I was being told, oh, you just need to take medicine. Oh, you just need to do this. And my spirit was telling me, you don't need medicine. You're not crazy. You need rest. Somebody say, I need rest. You need to rest. Anxiety, people say it's fear. And I will do an anxiety vlog sometime really soon. We'll touch on that. The experts say that anxiety is fear. But anxiety, especially when you are at the state I was in, is a response to stress. That's what anxiety is. And the only way to me to cure anxiety is to heal and rest. These jobs and society will make you feel as if you're supposed to deal with stress, and you're not. You're not. Going to work should never cause you stress. I didn't have a psychological or mental health issue when I started. I didn't have something, some chemical imbalance. And at the time I was like, well, maybe I have bipolar, maybe I'm schizophrenic, because that's how stressed out I was. I was none of those things. But that's what the enemy would try to tell you. And that's what the world wants you to believe, that it's you. Because these businesses, they just do not care, honey. They do not care about you. You're just a body. You're just there to work and accomplish their goals or whatever. You're not working for your benefit. You're working for someone else's benefit. And I can tell you this from an honest place of experience. Because when you have anxiety, you're going to be online all day researching symptoms. You're going to read books. You're going to do everything possible to learn how to deal with this. And I've done this over the last 10 years. I've also been educated in it. And I can tell you that you're not meant to deal with anxiety. You're not meant to deal with stress. And anytime you feel, it's okay to feel like you're having a bad day. Anxiety or stress is not a bad day. It's an everyday occurrence. So if you feel like that, if you're in that position, then the thing for you to do is to stop and take self-inventory and determine how you want to move forward. And I did that for me, and that's why I decided to quit my 9-to-5. It wasn't an easy decision. It was probably one of the hardest choices I ever made, but it was the best decision I ever made. And it hasn't been easy. I've had some rough days. I've had some days where, oh my God, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have any, I've had some times where I didn't have any money. I've hardly been able to pay bills and things of that nature. But guess what? Nothing got shut off. Praise God. Not one bill got shut off. I didn't lose my car. I didn't lose my home. I was able to feed my children. I've been able to clothe my children. If you go to my other blog or other channel, you will see I'm always shopping at Dollar Tree or somewhere like that because I like bargains. But still, I've been able to keep it moving. And it hasn't been because I'm just that chick. It's all been because of God. Let's not kid ourselves. But I had everybody from mom to siblings to friends to therapists to significant others all telling me, oh, you can't quit your job. How are you going to take care of yourself and your children? And God said, I got you. I got you. You can leave. I got you. And I'm glad I did it for my mental health, and I'm glad I did it for the betterment of myself. But I'm also glad that I did it because it taught me to trust God and that I could persevere through my faith. I'm glad because I can tell you that you'll be okay. You don't have to stay at that job. I don't care who says you should stay. I don't care how delusional you feel about it. I don't care how stressed it's making you. If anything is causing you, okay, to need therapy, to have to pray coming in to work and going out of work, if you're dealing with too much, or if you just want to leave, if you have a dream, if you have ambitions, if you have goals. So do what you need to do for you. So I'm not going to allow this video to go any longer. It's already getting pretty lengthy, but that's why I left my 9 to 5. I didn't have any ambitions on being a content creator. I've always had an entrepreneur spirit. I'm also an author, but I could do that and keep my job. None of those things that I want to do prevented me from doing my job. It was just, quite frankly, I couldn't do it anymore. My mind wouldn't let me do it anymore. My body wouldn't let me do it anymore. And I was getting sick to the point where I don't even want to say where I would have ended up if I had stayed there. I had to go for me, and I couldn't listen to anybody else. I couldn't do it for my kids. I had to do what I needed to do for me. So if that's you, I'm here to give you that message. Do what you need to do. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you enjoy my channel, would you consider subscribing and also liking this video if you made it this far? Drop me a note in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this content and what type of content or things you would like to hear me talk about in the future. Have a blessed day. Life is worth living when you live it on purpose.